In the quiet of the night,
ladies,
I hear a whisper in the wild.
Gentlemen,
A fragile
welcome to the guitar angle.
Every chord remembers you.
Every chord remembers you.
Every note becomes a name.
Every note becomes your name.
Reaching through the frequencies, but nothing sounds the same. I feel the air.
Do you feel it?
Like a truth
Do you hear it? Hear the call? To the stage, the main stage. The crowd going wild. The amp is on fire. The electric guitar, the vibe, the athleticism. Do you feel it? Do you really feel it? Ladies and gentlemen, ooh, baby, ladies and gentlemen, I need you to be ready. Buckled up, ready to go. Because we are about to begin the most athletic guitar stream ever. And so, start the clock.
of Sorenzo. The world is made of silver strings and unresolved desires. I chase the tone that once was yours through broken amplifiers. You fade into the reverb, but I still can't let it win. I hear you in the distance, pulling me again. I feel the air around me tremble like a truth I can't let go. A spark inside the silence calling me back home. I'm falling through the echoes where the shadows start to glow. And every sound you leave behind is the one I can't outgrow. Oh, Mr. Sorenzo, your voice is in the undertow. I'm rising, but I'm sinking in the echoes. Echoes of Sorenzo. Hold me in the static, guide me through the dark. Every fading memory still reaches for my heart. I'm falling through the echoes, still searching for your glow. And every wave that crashes
Already,
reminds me
I'm getting some comments about my haircut. Unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Looks like you guys are ready to go.
I'm standing,
Then
but I'm drifting.
buckle up, because we are about to begin. Ooh, baby.
Sorenzo. plug in the power, feel the voltage rise. Neon lightning, sparks in my eyes. Fingers on the fretboard, volume high. I'm the glitch in the system you cannot find. Crowds buzzing like a circuit overload. One strum and the whole damn room explodes. Heads are buzzing from the head, banging mosh pit flows. But I'm just getting started. Watch me flow.
Ooh, baby, baby.
Ooh, baby, baby. Ooh, baby, baby. Ooh, baby, baby. Electric in my veins, supercharged, but I'm still unchained. Screw classical players, let them fade. 'Cause I set
Baby, baby.
the stage on fire.
Ladies! Oh no! What's happening?
Like a neon
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Guitar Angle. I'm Mr. Sorenzo. I am your host with the most. Can you feel it? Static rising. That's right. That's right.
in this hour. Watch me break the meter. Take it deeper.
Turn me up! Turn me up! That's right. That's what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Guitar Angle. I am Mr. Sorenzo, and I gotta tell you something. I am in the mood today. I am in the mood today. Let me tell you why. Because we got this kick ass of the stream for you today. We got hot items on our stream docket today. You might not believe it, but we do. First, we are going to talk about ESP, LTD, LED, Sony, GSP, HSP, LTD guitar, XJ-2 HD. Where's my music? Okay, that's better. Then, we're gonna talk about Gibson's new release, a new 60s Les Paul Signature Limited Edition. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about a couple of articles from heavyweights such as Paul L. Gilberto. I almost messed up his name. Paul Gilbert. We're gonna talk about that. Some Metallica news. We're gonna talk about that. Dan Electro came out with a new guitar. Back to the Future is what they say. And then we're also gonna talk about Chapman guitars in the middle of the stream. Chapman finally updated their website. So yeah, we got an awesome docket for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get started, baby. And already, Dorotio says this is an early live stream. Yes, we're trying to pull it back a little earlier. Just a little earlier, because we had feedback from people that live in other countries. For example, Shaolin is from Israel. And he's like, bro, when you go live, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm trying to accommodate everybody. Though, however impossible it may be, we can always try. And this is the reason why. Vadim says, yo, your haircut is way better that way. Okay. Does it mean that this haircut is better or worse? You tell me, Vadim. Is this a good haircut? Is it an improvement or not? Because that message can be interpreted either way. You can think, oh, like this guy's hair was better like earlier, or now it's now better. Which one is it, Vadim? Clarify, please. That'll be great. All right, let us get the party started, shall we? Tone it down, man. This music was great, very excitable, but let's move on with our lives, okay? Thank you. Perfect ending. Perfect ending. All right, let me play something a little bit more mellow, and then we'll get our stream started, shall we? It's good. Thank you. Vadim says it's good. We like it. Thank you very much. It was a big change. I'll tell you a funny story. So when I went to the barber shop, the guy was like, look, it's a big change. Like, are you ready for it? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not a kid. Cut my hair. So it took about 50 minutes to get it to where it is. And we like it. We like it very much. I think here's the main reason why I did it. And the downside, by the way, is the fact that you don't get to like headbang while flicking your hair. That's the downside. As a metal guitar player, that's a big pain. We don't like, you know what I mean? However, the thing is that I am more often than not sleep deprived than not. And my camera just froze. Okay, so give me a second. Everything's going insane today. All right. While I'm working on the camera, I'm more often sleep deprived than not, right? And that's me working 70, 80 hours a week. And so what happens is that a lot of times I wake up early in the morning and I have a mild headache, and the weight of the hair was giving me extra headache, basically, that I didn't need. So that was one reason why. The second reason why is that you go to shower, it takes you, an hour to look after the hair properly and come out and use products so your hair doesn't get dry and all that. And then very lastly, and this is for those people who have really thin, curly, weavy hair. So if you have like thick Asian style straight hair, that doesn't apply to you. But if you had hairs like mine, what happens is that when you headbang and you move your head around, the hair gets stuck on your face. Either if you're sweating or if you got a bit of beard, it gets stuck and then you can't see anything forever. So for all of these reasons, I thought maybe that's the way to go. Yeah. Vadim says, you need a beard now and beer. Hell yeah. This is yeah. Beard and beer, huh? I like it. The beer bit, especially. And I haven't had like beer for 6 years, man. November 2019. 7 years almost. 6-7 years. All right, let's reset that camera. And then I'm curious to see if finally the other camera comes back live, or am I screwed like what is that face? What's going on with that face of mine? Unbelievable. Vadim says me too. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay, let's deactivate this. And then reactivate this. And are we back? Yes! Yes, we're back. And you guys get to see two of me. That's right. All right. Cool. With that sorted out, let us get the first item on the docket started. By the way, Vadim, you're a short hair guy or a long hair guy? And as a Russian man, how are you prioritizing beer over vodka? That's also another. We need to talk about that too at some point. Both. Okay, I like it. There we go. Don't mix them though. Don't do like a pint of beer and then drop a shot of vodka in there. Well, that comes from experience. I've actually tried it and the outcome isn't good at all. The night will turn to a crazy night and then the headache morning after is not nice at all. All right, let's get the party started, y'all, shall we? Woo! Here we go. All right, now, guys. Let's talk about this. I am a massive fan of the shape of this guitar. They got, like, ESP and LTD, generally speaking, do a good job when it comes to getting old school design and turning it modern. I don't think they did as good of a job in the Phoenix, which is a modern version of a Firebird, essentially. Firebird Phoenix, get it? However, I think they've done a great job with this one. The Meteora, you know, kind of a design. The Jaguar Mustang. Right? So I think this is a beautiful guitar. Like, off the top of my head, I don't think there's that many LTDs that I like as much as the shape and the design of the guitar aesthetically. Let's talk about it. This is the XJ-2 HD. It right off the cuff, my favorite design choices here. It is has a very simple bridge. Comes with Fishman influences, modern metal, if that's where you want to go. Inlays look sick. The combination, the color selection for the pickguard and the body is just sick. It's just awesome. So let's talk about it. Bolt-on neck. 25.5-inch scale. Swamp ash body, so nice and light. Bright sound, but nice and light, assuming that, you know, again, there's a lot of variability between ash, but it's swamp ash, not like northern ash, which is really heavy. So that's kind of good, because otherwise the guitar would be really heavy. 3-piece roasted maple neck. Beautiful neck, by the way. Not a fan of this sort of like sawn pattern there, but other than that, you know, roasted maple, can't go wrong with it. Macassar ebony fingerboard. Fingerboard radius 350 mil. What is that in inches? Does anybody know? Millimeter to inch. So that's like a third. So almost 14. 13.7, almost 14 inches in radius. 42 mil nut width. So Vadim already likes it. So strings are closer together. We like that. Black bone nut. Thin U-neck contour. 22 XJ stainless steel frets. Comes in a standard strap lock. Strap button rather. Locking tuners. Hip shot string through bridge. My favorite bridge right now. Without exaggeration. Hip shot strings through bridges are probably my favorite right now. Fishman Fluence Modern 3-voice humbucker ceramic brush stainless. On neck and the bridge, and I had these on another LTD, and they're great pickups, by the way. Really good pickups. Master volume push and pull toggle switch. Comes with the Dario XL 110s, 1046, and the case is not included in it. Now, I had this discussion with a friend of mine earlier this week, I think, if I'm not mistaken. With stainless steel frets, right? It's great that these guitars come with it, but it only matters if a guitar is crazily used in some ways. I'm not going to talk so much about the tonal impact of it, because we'll never reach any consensus on that. I personally didn't feel that much like crazy difference in the tone of a stainless steel versus, say, a nickel silver, or a gold for that matter, which sits somewhere between nickel silver and stainless steel. The advantage here really is that stainless steel frets wear off a lot later, like they got a longer sort of age in terms of like the duration that you can use them without you having to go on and get them like changed by somebody or yourself. So I think that's the advantage there. But overall, man, the guitar looks awesome. It's just a phenomenal guitar, and I know exactly how Fishman Fluence Moderns sound like because I had one guitar at home with them. They sound awesome. If you guys like want, this is what Fishman Fluence has done. The criticism to Seymour Duncan metal pickups has always been they're not thick and meaty enough. So you have to go to somewhere like EMGs, right? EMG actives. And the problem with EMG actives is that they're too compressed. They take a lot of the nuances of your playing away. And so Fishman's essentially tried to fix that problem in Fishman Fluence Modern pickups. They try to get the best of both worlds. How can you get meaty, strong, chunky sound without losing articulation? Is I think what they went for. And that model has worked in a lot of ways. Seymour Duncan now actually came up with their first multi-voice pickup, which they're not in Australia yet. I'm waiting for them to arrive, and then I'll be buying one just to try them out. I'll probably put it on one of the guitars. Yeah, but overall, man, it looks awesome. It's simple. It's simple. Look at that. Just one cavity, one routing. You know, just simple. Just simplicity. Felicity and simplicity. We like that. Vadim says, I don't drink. Too weak for heavy drinks, I think. Well, that's a good problem to have, I think. You know what I mean? It might not serve you that much well in college, but in life, it actually does. You know what I mean? You don't want to be a heavy drinker. I've been a heavy drinker until 2019. Trust me, you don't want that life. Yeah. The LTD Deluxe XJ-2 HD is designed for professional guitar players who require versatile tones, smooth playability, complete reliability. A symmetrical XJ body shape provides with a feature set designed for a modern musician. You know, we talked about all of it. Is there any new information there? Brushed stainless steel covers, push and pull. Nope. Ceramic in the bridge, alnico in the neck. That's the only thing that we didn't really cover down there. For the pickups, Fishman Fluence Modern, 3-voice humbucker pickups, ceramic in the bridge, alnico in the neck. That's it. Vadim says, I tried EMGs, had different thoughts about them. Still don't like them, but cleans were quite good. Distortion compression brings out unwanted noises. Yeah, you don't want to, you don't want the sound of your pickup to be too compressed. I agree with you. There is, I think, something to be said about how well your guitar represents your playing. You know what I mean? If you have something to present in your playing, then, which I think most people do, then, you know, you want something that actually represents what you play. And if you overproduce that sound one way or the other, it can be through compression in the, you know, heavily compress the pickups and then add preamp like what EMGs do, like 8185s do, which are, like, again, amazing sounding pickups, like for thrash metal, like EMG 8185s, right? Like that's like the flagship. So I'm not saying they're bad, but I'm saying that there's something to be said about articulation, dynamic range, and how well a guitar represents what you do. That's one of the reasons why I love Telecasters. Telecasters are simple, easy to fix, easy to maintain, and they're really honest. They're really, really honest. Like, you know, they represent what you actually play, and I think that's really good. That's probably the main reason I like Telecasters. Yeah. Dorotio said EMG 8185s are best for metal. 100%. Like, they are, you know, the thrash metal pickups. Like, you know, we have the 4 horsemen of apocalypse for thrash metal, like Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer, right? 8185s all the way. And so, yeah, that's the sound of the 90s, 80s, 90s metal, for sure. But, and I'm gonna get a lot of heat for this, I don't think they're best suited for somebody that likes to, for example, do a lot of guitar solos. Rhythm playing, hell yes. But if I'm playing a solo, I don't know if I want something that compressed. I want something that allows, it just bring every detail of my playing out. All the mistakes, all the correctness, all the gunks, All the calluses, bring it out. Let me hear who I am as a player, is what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? That's the main thing for me. And if there was an EMG or any other brand that can do it, not just EMGs, man, like bare knuckles are awesome. Some bare knuckle stuff I'm hearing, they're like great. Fishmans are great. Seymour Duncan, literally, you guys were online. Most of you were with me. Vadim wasn't here, but Doroteo was there. We literally put a Seymour Duncan ATHLETICALLY 8 pickup in my Washburn guitar, my main guitar. Like, Seymour Duncans are awesome. But yeah. Vadim says, so far of what I had a chance to record, I like Seymour Duncan Custom 5 Versatile and Black Winter. Black Winter is really tight. Yes. Yes. So, Vadim, we changed, live on stream, I changed the Bill Lawrence pickup to the Seymour Duncan Nazgul Rail, the ATHLETICALLY 8 one. I did a lot of research before selecting that pickup. And the only pickup that was like competing with it, that like casting a bit of doubt, like got me to cast a bit of doubt in my own decision, was the Black Winter. I went through bare knuckles, I went through Fishman Fluence, I was like, all right, what do I get? It really came down to Seymour Duncan Nazgul Rail, the new one, Rail ATHLETICALLY 8, and Black Winter. It came down to that, and I went with Nazgul. Yeah. Doroteo says Fishman pickups copied EMGs. They did a lot of it. They, like I said, you're right. They tried to do the best of both worlds, and yeah. Doroteo says the Marzio humbuckers rule in the passive pickup game. They're great. The Marzios are great. Some of the Ibanez's sound mean with them, man. And can I say, Tim Henson's old guitar, let me see if I can find it. That one had 3 DiMarzios in it. Tim Henson, not the new crazy looking Ibanez guitar, the one that looked old school, the black one with gold hardware. Tim Henson. Where is it? If I can find it, I'll show you guys. There we go, this one. This one. That guitar, the THBB10, he looks good in this actually. I like his style here. Right? This guitar came with DiMarzios, and I love the sound of that guitar. I like the sound in that guitar a lot better than the one that he more sort of currently does. I thought this was a lot more versatile. Yeah. But yeah, DiMarzios are great. Like, DiMarzios are just fantastic. That's the thing, man. I think there in the guitar world, there's always like some, it's like a pendulum swing, like a cultural pendulum swing, that at some point, there was a point like maybe a couple of years ago that everybody went to this overproduced janty sound, Instagram reel friendly only kind of music. You know what I mean? Like, just overproduced, overprocessed. And now there's a shift back to like, all right, well, guys, can we, especially with the AI stuff becoming more and more prominent, and Suno and AI music generators, there was now a lot of push towards, you know, can we hear a human actually play? There's a lot of exposés of people pretending like they're playing, like miming and all that. So, but yeah, there's always like a cultural pendulum swing. But for your boy, I like to hear what I play. I like dynamic range. I like a pickup to be versatile. Yeah. Doroteo says the Marzio Tone Zone Air Norden set is real versatile from jazz to rock and metal playing. Let's look at it. The Marzio Tone Zone. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. All right. The Tone Zone. We like the name. And you can zebra it. You can go with one color. I like it. I like the Marzio gives you like all these color options. Wish Seymour Duncan did that. Would have been a lot of fun. Look at that. Coming soon. Okay. Coming soon as well. Can I get the white one? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Tone zone comes with different spacings. F space or standard space. Can I please get the tone guide, the EQ? There we go. Low on treble, high on mids. Low on mids, high bass. Ooh. That is a very low and heavy, no? That is really low and heavy. Have you ever heard a bridge pickup that made a guitar sound like a giant mosquito attack? If you've run into this problem, the tone zone is the solution. It's hot enough to qualify as a high output pickup, but it has a wider dynamic range. Hard picking will produce a lot of power, love it. Softer picking will be much cleaner and quieter. See, this is great. This statement here, hard picking will produce a lot of power, soft picking will be cleaner. You want that. A little bit. If you're playing metal, at the very least. There's a point of too much. Like there's a point that there's like too much of it. And in metal especially. And the reason for that is that we as metal players and rock players are physical with our guitars, right? It's always a case of like you picking up the guitar, like we've all done it. I still do it almost every day, right? That you pick up the guitar and you just like go physical about it. It's always nice to have a soft touch, to be able to play softly and without any tension, but it's metal. You have to headbang and vibe and jump and you know what I mean? All this stuff. And so what that means is that your attack is not going to be as controlled as it should be for something that has a massive dynamic range and is too sensitive to your attack. So there is a point of too much when it comes to your, you know, if you're a metal player and you got all the other factors going on in your playing. However, I like this statement. How about we produce a pickup that actually represents someone's playing, you know? Adam says, really beautiful top on your Washburn, by the way. Thank you, sir. It is Hawaiian Koa and African Corina. Yeah, it's this Tonewood. Let me show you the Tonewood, actually. Koa Corinas are great. Yeah. Hawaii, man. Like, I love Texas. I'm a fan of the South. But also, there's a lot of beauty in the North. Hawaiian. I have a really good friend. She's from Hawaii. And I just love the warmth and the kindness and the culture. It's just amazing. Hawaii is great. Look. This is the top wood that you probably saw. This is Hawaiian Koa. It's called Koa, Hawaiian Curly Koa. Okay, sorry. I just called it Hawaiian Koa. But that's the top wood. Yeah. And apparently there are 4 types. I didn't know that. I only knew the curly one as the Koa. But apparently there are 4 types. Plain, quartered, figured, and curly. Man, the figured looks really good too. Look at that. I didn't know that existed. I just knew the curly one as Koa. I was just like, oh, that's Koa. Figured. So this is probably the figured one, no? Oh God, this looks beautiful. Man, Mother Nature beats it all, doesn't she? Mother Nature, like just beautiful pieces of wood. Put it in a guitar. Don't stain. Don't do anything. Just let it be. And Mother Nature always wins. Ah, oh, this is beautiful. I'm in awe, not gonna lie to you guys. See, now I want another guitar with Koa in it. What a beautiful piece of wood. Yeah. Ha, okay. Now here's the thing, man, and I'm not like this activist type, woke, crazy, like activist, like pink hair, purple hair kind of a person. I'm not that. But it's in moment like this that I'm like, you know what? Maybe we want to make sure that guitar production with high quality wood at least is done in a sustainable way so that we can actually keep these beautiful woods for like generations to come. this is valuable. This is like invaluable. Like you can't put a price on this beauty. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it. I'm like, I want to make sure that people after me also get to have guitars that are blessed with Mother Nature like this. Like, you know what I mean? Are blessed by Mother Nature like this. And I'm not an activist crazy like type. Like I'm not about it. It's not my lane. I'm just really, really appreciative of the beauty of this wood. Yeah. Vadim asks, so Bill Lawrence was too scratchy for you? Yes. Right on money. Yes, sir. The Bill Lawrence was really scratchy for me. And I did all I could. So I have a Line 6 Helix multi-effects at home. Line 6 Helix LT. I'll show you this. So I have one of these babies at home, right next to me here actually. And it's an amazing multi-effects. It's a bit pricey, but it's awesome. Like I love the sound, very realistic, hardly any latency. Just amazing, amazing, amazing. I spent hours, and I'm telling you hours, trying to figure out how can I make that Bill Lawrence sound a little less ice picky and give it a bit more meat, give it a bit more oomph. You know what I mean? I couldn't. No matter what preset I used, no matter how much I tweaked those presets or how many presets I started to build from scratch. No. Did not work. I am not the biggest fan of Bill Lawrence pickups. The XL, the 500 XL. I'm not a biggest fan of that pickup. And I got now 2 of them sitting at home in the bag because I had 2 Washburn N4s and I now replaced both of the bridge pickups. Yeah, I don't know, man. I said it in yesterday's stream where we were changing the pickup live. I said it then. I don't know how Nuno gets such a good sound out of those. Used to. Now he moved to his new brand of guitars and he has his custom pickups in the bridge now. Funny enough, he kept the neck pickup, so the neck pickup in his new guitars are also Seymour Duncan 59s, which are inspired by Gibson's 59 Path pickups. And it sounds awesome. Seymour Duncan 59, guys, for those who don't know, if you can get your hand on one, get your hand on one and put it as the neck pickup, you'll love it. Seymour Duncan 59 in the neck is just awesome, right? It's one of the best neck pickups I've ever heard in my life to this day. But the point is, I don't know how Nuno used to get such an amazing song out of that pickup, live and in studio, live and on the record. I don't know how he does that. My guess was, and I said it in yesterday's streams as well, my guess is that that pickup opens up differently with different volumes. Like if you're getting on the stage, you got your Marshall JCM 2000, which is what Nuno uses. Turn it up, broadcast it. Maybe the pickup opens up a little differently. That's my only guess. But I don't know how he did it. Because I spent hours, I was just like, all right, well, this doesn't worth it. Like, I could spend like 1% of the time I spent trying to do this, I can just change the pickup and I'm good. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Zuer says, what's down, Sorenzo? We are up, baby. We are up. Ain't nothing down going on here. We up. How are ya? How was your tutoring yesterday? Because you were tutoring people, and we like that. We like tutoring people. We do that too. Guitar. Doroteo says, if a guitar has feedback noise, but gets quiet when you touch the fixed bridge, is it a grounding issue and an easy fix? This is, in all likelihood, a grounding issue. It can be something else too, but most likely, yes, it is a grounding issue, and it can be fixed. Yeah, look, guitars naturally have some noise, and that little noise goes away when your hand touches a metal part of the guitar, a conductive part of the guitar that is somehow connected to the inner circuit, the electrical circuit of your guitar, right? That is natural. However, it should be like hardly audible. It should be really little. If it's more than that, then yes, in all likelihood, it's a grounding issue. So what do we do about it? You have to first figure out where the grounding issue is, assuming that it's a grounding issue, right? Your guitar is not with me, so I can't work on the guitar to tell you where it exactly is, or if it's not actually an issue to begin with. It could be your pickup just being like noisy, you know what I mean? Most likely grounding issue though. So first, identify where the problem is. If you got a multimeter at home, use the multimeter to see how, like, what's more conductive, what's not. If you see a loose joint somewhere, like a solder joint, redo that joint. If you see a solder joint in your pickup that looks gray and dull, like it's not nice and bright, right? Maybe it's worth you sort of like just adding a bit of solder, melting it down, just add a bit of solder to it, melt it down, play around with it, and just redo it a little that way to bring it back to life. So you could have some cold solder joints that don't fully, you know, they're not fully conductive in the grounding part of the electrical circuit. Little things like that, but the fix is easy. It's not that hard. I think the biggest problem is just, the biggest challenge, if any, is you figuring out where the problem exactly sits. Yeah. So you can like pick up a multimeter and test the conductiveness of different parts of the circuit. And that can be a good starting point. Yeah. But it's an easy fix. Like if you have a soldering iron, a proper one, unlike myself. I literally, for those of you who left the stream early yesterday, by the way, I finished the first stream. We did 2 streams yesterday. We had part 1 and we had part 2. Part 1 finished. I left home, went to a store, bought a proper soldering iron, came back. The thing that took us an hour to not do, we still failed at the end, right? On the first stream. It took me 5 minutes and I fixed it with a proper soldering iron. So, my mistake, your lesson. Please don't buy El Cheapo soldering irons from Amazon because it will bite you in the rear end after a few uses. And I kept it clean. The tip was tinned. You know, it wasn't like a... Dorito says, Zuhair in the house. Yes, sir. Zuhair says, tutoring went well. I also faced that kind of noise issue from a less known brand guitars I got from Amazon, Donner, and West Creek Guitars. We talked about those on the stream. I also found it says online it's likely a grounding issue. Yeah, it is. It is likely a grounding issue. Yes. What multimeter do you recommend, brand and model? The one I have at home, I also bought it cheap from Amazon. I don't know the brand and model. I can look it up for you and let you know. But it was just something I bought from Amazon, and that one really does the job. I've used it on every one of my guitars pretty much now, just to play around and see if there's any issues. You can, that one is, I can say that one is safe to buy cheaply from somewhere like Amazon or something. Yeah, there are some guitar accessories and equipment that is safe for you to buy it cheap, and some are not. Soldering irons are clearly not, and it's a bold statement coming from somebody that has made that mistake in front of you guys, right? So let me acknowledge that. I'm not gonna know everything. However, I can tell you from experience that some tools you can buy them cheaply, like for example, a fret hammer. You don't have to buy an expensive one. I bought a fret hammer from Alibaba Express for $3 US, $2 US. Really cheap. Works just fine. A fret rocker. You know, as long as it's flat, like straight, not flat, you're good. Just look at the reviews and buy something that is cheap, you're good. You know. Guitar string gouge, don't buy it cheap. Do not buy a cheap string action gouge. I bought the Music Man one. I bought 3. And the Music Man one is a bit more pricey, but it's the only one that I'm happy with. It's accurate, it's tight, and it's black with white, yellowish text on it, which is easy to read. So with your string action gouge, don't try to cut corners with that one. You actually buy a proper one. Straight edge. If you want to buy a straight edge, buy a proper one. Don't buy a cheap straight edge. But yeah. I think multimeter. I think you're okay. All right, let me bring my multimeter, guys, just so I can show Doroteo and answer that question. Give me a second. So, the multimeter I bought was... Did my camera freeze again? My camera just froze again. I'm in front, but like I'm in front of the thing, but I'm not. Okay, give me a second. Let me, this camera is doing this again. I don't know why, man. All right, hold on. This is ridiculous. All right. I don't know why this does that. I don't know why this does that, man. It's ridiculous. And here we go. Thank God. All right, this is becoming a little too much. I got to do something about it. All right. What I was saying. Actually, I don't need to put this on right now. Give me a second. All right, so what I was saying is this is the brand. Took me half a decade to come to it, but it's called... Doroteo, you're not gonna believe this. That kind of makes sense, right? It's the same brand as the crappy soldering iron, Placebo. I remember now. I know why now, because I bought this pack from Amazon and everything came together. That's why. Ah, that makes sense now. So I bought a pack of like accessories from Amazon, and they all came together, and that's why the brand is the same. It's Placebo. It's the same brand that I showed you yesterday for that crappy soldering iron. So if you buy this pack, throw the soldering iron away, or just don't buy this pack at all. But yeah, this one has done the job for me. The multimeter has done the job for me just fine. Yeah. All right, let me put this back. All right, thank you for your patience, everybody. Thank you for your patience. Okie dokes. Zuhair says, Sorenzo, how many years of haircut did you cut away? 4, I think. I think it was 4 years. When you exited the screen, the camera took its chance to unlock the door. It did. And then it turned into a horror movie. All right. Hey, I wanted to talk about this with you guys and hear your thoughts. Check this out. This was interesting. So, there was this article from Paul Gilbert admitting that long solos bored him, like the Doors, Light My Fire, you know, and he'd be thinking like, all right, when does the singer come? When's the singer gonna come back? Right? So that was like his initial thing. And then he basically says this: I think there's something that I'm not very good at, that I want to get better at, and that is writing songs that have a long section where you can improvise. So basically we're jazz, essentially, right? Gilbert says, because when I was a kid, I didn't like to listen to that. I'd hear a song on the radio like Light My Fire by The Doors. It's got a long solo, and as a kid, that was boring to me. I was like, when's the singer gonna come back? So even though I loved playing guitar solos as a fan, I liked short solos. Like if you listen to Eddie Van Halen, Eddie's solos are always short, and I love that. But as the time goes on, I've started to change, and now I actually like the long solos. and I could listen to them, I enjoy them. What do you guys think? I'd be keen to hear, because the thing is that, again, there's yet another shift in sort of like music culture. But like, what do you guys think about this? When I read this, I was like, look, if you listen to a song, right, that is vocal centric, so vocalist is the star of the show, then it only makes sense as a listener for you to not want to be away from the vocals for too long, right? Do you know what I mean? And vocals are not just another instrument. Vocals, there's something significant about vocals, right? Because everyone's like, oh, like, you know, vocals is just another instrument in the mix. No, it's not. The difference with vocals, what makes them unique, is words and their meaning. And no instrument can replicate that. Language, right? Language is a really sophisticated thing. Language is not like we talk and you know, whatever, and everything looks like, all right, well, you know, we just talking. Words have meaning, man. And this is the thing that no other instrument can really replicate. So vocals are in a really unique spot in the mix. And if that's the focus of the song, it only makes sense for you to not have crazy long solos that are gonna, you know, take over the vocals essentially. What do you guys think? I wonder. Doroteo says, bruh, what did I do to earn that? What did I say to earn that? Shaolin, how are you, man? Right the Lightning has a long solo. Never got bored with it. Still my favorite Metallica solo. Right the Lightning's really good. Right the Lightning is a really good song. Like even at the beginning of the song, they really started with a statement. Yeah. So, you know, I hear you. I hear your point. I'm not saying all long solos are bad. What I'm saying is that, you know, there will come a time that you feel like, all right, well, it's trying to take over the vocals. And that probably is a point of too much if and only if the song is vocalist centric. You know what I mean? Like, because there are some, okay, so there are some records, and I can think of, God damn it, I can't remember the artist's name, but it's like a metal project, a metal song and music with vocals, with backing vocals in it. So the guitar is the core of the song, like it's in the center. However, there are some backing vocals to complement the guitar. I'm like, all right, well, that's, you know, that kind of makes sense. Yeah. Doroteo says, real interesting. Yeah, it's crazy how this dynamic works. Yeah. Shaolin says, and if you got a ball of course you said that. Of course you. And if you got a ball of ganja, it's 10 times better. I'm glad you're enjoying your Metallica. This thing froze again. What? Why did the camera focus? Man, today's stream, like, nothing's gonna come easy. This week's streams, none of this week's streams were a smooth ride, technically, as far as the equipment is involved. I don't. Well, nothing stop us. Let me just put it that way. Nothing can stop us from athleticism of an electric guitar. Let me just put it out there. Let me set the expectations right. But it would be nice if the equipment stopped failing me left and right. All right, there we go. We're back. I'm gonna have to check it out today. See what's up with it. Okay. Shaolin says, not as smooth as the soldering video last night. Yeah, no, last night was better. The first stream started really good. And then my soldering iron failed me miserably. Then the second half, the second stream went just a lot better. So yeah, I'll be restringing that guitar a little later. So everything is ready. We've cleaned the neck, changed the pickup, polished the frets. Everything's good. The Urtio says depends on the song. Oh, absolutes, 100%. Last night was better than a train wreck. That was a compliment, huh? Yeah, the first one was a train wreck. I think last night wasn't as much of a train wreck. The second half. All right, yes, sir. Even the first stream yesterday started really good. Like everything was working well. You know, unscrew stuff, take the pickup out. It's just like the last bit of soldering really bit me. All right, I'm moving on. Let us talk about. Hey guys, I want to talk to you about this Gibson custom release. Mick Ronson's guitar got recreated. I wanted to show you guys this one. I thought that was interesting. Gibson is doing a lot of Gibson is doing more and more signature guitars, which is great. Which is what they should have done a lot earlier. The thing with Fender and Gibson is that they think like they're too big to fail. And they weren't doing like that many collabs, Fender and Gibson both. And it seems like they're going down that road a little more. Obviously, with Kingfish's Fender Telecaster, you know, you got the Telecaster Deluxe. Mateos Asaro is now with Fender. So that's good. And then with Gibson, they got the Mark Morton Lamb of God signature Les Paul. And now this, like they're going that way more and more. At some point, legacy and heritage is not going to save you. It's not going to be enough for you to survive and thrive, not just survive, but thrive. You're going to need new artists as younger people come in. Because like, think about it. Like if you got a Gen Z person, right? Someone who's like, was born in, I don't know, 2000s, right? Or 2010s. That person is like a teenager, right? Someone who's born in 2010 could not care who Jimi Hendrix was, could not care who Les Paul was, didn't give a damn, like doesn't know who Slash is. You know what I mean? And so all these icons that made these guitars big are in all likelihood of zero interest and care to someone who was born in 2010. So at some point, if you want this legacy to continue, you're going to have to go to the artist. Big ones. So finally, it seems like they're making some moves down that realm. That's a good thing. Gibson Custom releases limited recreation of Mick Ronson's iconic strip 1968 Les Paul Custom. Haha, hee hee. Look at that. When I saw this image first, I thought it was spalted maple top. I was wrong. It would have been really cool if it was, though. Anywho, recreates the legendary guitarist's most famous instrument in meticulous detail. Long celebrated as a producer, arranger, songwriter, and one of rock's most distinctive guitar voices, Ronson left an incredible mark on modern music, and they brought only 100 units of these back. Can we have a listen? Can we have a listen to this guitar? And let's see what it's all about. Pause the music. And boom. Let's go.
when camera pans down, you realize there's this sidekick, and Mick comes in and he's got this guitar and he's got a gold top on and he's got this golden hair. He was just this golden star that was on stage. He was more than a sidekick. This wasn't like Ronnie next to Rod or Keith next to Mick. This was something that Bowie really knew he needed.
As Ziggy Stardust, it's so theatrical and beautiful, and it really transports you emotionally when you listen to those songs.
Great marketing, by the way. Tell a story. The thing that makes a guitar expensive and worthy of buying, the biggest thing ever, is the story. Such a good job, right? They did with the marketing, and they you don't always see it. Like, it always starts, all right, well, this guitar sounds amazing, yada, yada. You know what I mean? Whereas this one's like, hey, like, you know, he was with Bowie, and it was like a glam thing, and he wasn't just a sidekick. Bowie knew he needed him, and things of that nature. So I thought this marketing was great. They sort of brought out a story out of this guitar. Gibson, again, is doing a better job in telling the stories. Like, because the thing is, like, sometimes I ask myself, you take Greenie away from Gibson, what story are they left with? What are the other stories that they can say? You know what they can tell you? Now, funny thing is, not funny thing, but interesting thing is, Dorothy, Shaolin says, Shaolin says, yeah, it was like falling off a building. Everything fine until that expected splat. And Shaolin says for 10,000 US, that thing should do the dishes. Yes, Shaolin is right. This guitar is 10,000 US dollars. It is indeed. Now, here's the thing though. I understand that, like, you know, it's an expensive, pricey guitar. But what I'm interested in more in these things, not so much like I wouldn't even buy a guitar like this myself. This is not the sound that I would go for either. But what I find interesting about it, is the design and the selection of different options in this guitar, right? Different things that you put in to make the sausage. Not so much the price tag. Like, by the way, guys, the price tag of the guitar is not something that I like put as a consideration one way or the other when it comes to the selection of guitars that we're going to talk about on the stream, right? So I don't care how much a guitar costs. It can cost $100, $10,000, or $1 million. I'm interested in designs, stories, interesting thing about the guitar. Yeah, the thing is, maybe before we continue, I'll tell you guys this quick thing, right? When it comes to, like, one thing I learned streaming guitar-related content and going live about guitars, right? What I learned is that, and it kind of makes sense, makes perfect sense, right? But one of the things I learned is that the content, the live content that gets the biggest buzz, like gets the biggest views, is always like this. An expensive guitar that is crap, or a really affordable guitar that is amazing. These are the two things that people are interested in, and it kind of makes sense, right? Because if I go on and say, hey, look, here's this super expensive guitar that is like great and amazing, the reaction is, well, no shit, Sherlock, you know? Well, it's an expensive guitar, it's supposed to do the dishes, like what Shaolin just said, right? Or if I say, hey guys, this guitar is $100 and it's crap, and everyone's like, all right, well, yeah, no shit, Sherlock, you know what I mean? It's only when you change that dynamic and you're like, all right, this is expensive, but it's garbage. Then everyone's like, all right, well, let's hear it out. You know what I mean? Or the other way around. So that is true. However, the price of the guitar is really not, it's not a factor at all when it comes to, you know, us talking about that particular guitar on the stream. It's really whether it's interesting or not, if there's a story behind it or not. Something like that, right? Like, if you guys recall, with the first guitar that we discussed, we didn't even talk about the price. So just have that at the back of your mind. I know Shaolin didn't say it meaning it that way. The poor guy just pointed out that it's $10,000, right? So I'm not saying that that's what you said or that's what anybody thought. What I'm saying is that, you know, we bring the price point up just for like a comparison thing, maybe just as an interesting fact, maybe, but not so much like it's not a factor on the selection of the guitar that I talk on the stream about. Yeah. Sheldon says, who you calling poor? Have a go at Soren Day, huh? Guys, give me a second. All right, let me get a little laugh at. All right, let's keep going. So custom Gibson custom Ronson, 1968 Les Paul, antique natural ebony. Now, 100 guitar, mahogany body with a plain maple cap, and it was the breakage in the finish that made me for a second feel like it might be spalted from distance, but it's not. It's actually just a plain maple cap, which is fine, right? That's the guitar. Look at one thing I liked about, like, again, talking about that, going back to what I said about Koa when we were talking about the Koa Tonewood. I just love the works of Mother Nature. If you got a good piece of wood, put it at the top. Don't stain it. Don't, just let that beauty show. And they did that with this guitar. So I'm a massive fan of the top wood. I really like it. It's just simple, beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous top wood. They got this nice little binding around. You guys see that? Look at that. And they seem to have aged the guitar a little too. Yeah, see that? They've aged it a little. Grover tuners. A bit of aging here too. Yeah, so very lightly aged kind of a guitar. All right, what do we have here? One piece mahogany back, not a surprise, it's a Les Paul. Murphy Lab aged nitrocellulose lacquer, like I literally just said it. Not weight relieved, so old school. Multi-ply top, back, and headstock binding, and a single-ply binding on the fretboard. And has a two-piece plain maple top, which looks gorgeous. And, can I say something? This is one of the better jobs that Gibson has done when it comes to book matching the guitar. The Mark Morden book matching top, the book matching of the top of Mark Morden's signature guitar was a horror show. It was Shaolin said earlier. It was like falling off a building, everything's fine until that expected splat. That was the top wood on Mark Morden's signature. Right? Okie dokes. Neck. End of board with 2.24 inches. Yeah, no, that's pretty Les Paul. 12 inches fingerboard radius, medium jumbo frets. It has a long tenon hide glue fit joint. Nylon knot material. By the way, if you guys wonder, like, why is a $10,000 guitar having a nylon nut? Because you would think, you know, you want a bone nut in there. Ideally, you want like an unbleached bone nut in there. And the reason for that is that unbleached bone nuts are not only look kind of cool old school, and they're not only really hard material, so they're like really good choice of material for the nut, but also they self-lubricate. So the natural organic material in the bone actually self-lubricates that nut. So your strings can glide really easy on nut slots, and that's a win for a nut material, right? That's a really big win. And I always wondered, why is it that a $10,000 guitar has a nylon nut material? The answer to that is because this is how the Gibsons were done in the 50s and 60s. They were all made with that's why like Dave Grohl's US signature guitar, the white one, also has nylon nuts. A lot of like really expensive Gibsons come with nylon nuts because that's how they made them back in the day. That's why. Yeah. Profile is authentic 68 C shape, 22 frets, mother of pearl inlays. Neck material is solid mahogany, 42.85 millimeters nut width, and the scale length is 24.475, which is just as you would expect in a Gibson. Bridge and neck pickup both are 68 custom humbuckers with Alnico 2s, 3-way switchcraft pickup selector, and 500K CTS potentiometers. Yeah. Fun fact, by the way, apparently, because CTS potentiometers, like CTS pots are like the cream of the crop. They're like the industry standard, right? When it comes to the selection of pots. Apparently, from what I heard, and you guys can fact check me on this, I could be wrong here. CTS is like a really old company, like goes to the World War II times. And one of the reasons that old Gibsons sound different, like really old school Gibsons sound really unique and different, is because the pots that were used in them and the electronics that were used in them were built for World War II. And so the selection of material was like completely different. And only it was like years after World War was over, the companies, to save cost, shifted to like different kind of material, and now you have, you know, the pots that we currently have. But that's one of the reasons why like collectors go for like the, you know, people that like the old sound go for like old Gibsons, because the electronics there were built for World War II purposes. So they were more solid in a lot of ways. They were more like better made, more expensive material, different material, I guess. Yeah. Pots can make a massive sound to your to your output, man. The pots, like, you can change a pot, and I'm not just talking about the CTS pots now, just any pot. Change your pot, you change the guitar sound. So those were like tone chasers, serious tone chasers. One of the things they do is that they actually change their pots to get a different sound and see how it goes. Yeah. Shatlin says, so Gibson saves painting the top and asks for what? An additional 3-4K? Not necessarily, right? That one, not necessarily. Because, you know, very expensive Murphy Lab aged Les Pauls that Gibson produces, they come with different finishes and stain jobs. So I don't think that's that much of a concern there. We were talking about, if you recall, we were in one of the like a few streams ago, we talked about the Artisan Explorers. Only 10 of them were made. All of them had some sort of a stain job and paint job on them, one way or the other. Most Les Paul are bursts: sunburst, smoke burst, tobacco burst, honey burst. So there's some sort of a stain job. Like more Gibsons got stain jobs than not, right? I think this is just the only reason they kept it this way is because the guy's guitar was like this. Like Ronson's guitar was like this. And so they just reproduced it. Yeah. I don't think it's like a cost-saving measure on a $10,000 guitar. Yeah. Doroteo says, natural wood looks amazing. It looks beautiful, man. Natural wood looks beautiful. Shalin says he removed the top paint himself. I didn't know that. Okay. Fair enough. Okay, I didn't know that at all. Did he? Interesting. I wouldn't dare doing that on my guitars. My apologies. Yeah, but overall, again, it's a Les Paul, you know, with Les Paul specs and everything else. But I like the story, and I like the top on this guitar, and I thought it was interesting. Yeah. Man, I'm allergic today for some reason. But yeah, that was it. Now, can I show you guys one more cool thing before we jump to the next item on the docket? And this sort of like came to my attention because I do all of my work, like guitar modding and everything, on my workbench, right? And this came to my attention. I thought this was awesome. Look at that. So you have an on stage introduces a new guitar stand workbench. This is awesome. I'm like, this is really good. You know, you're gonna have to worry about making, like, you know, keeping the bottom clean. Like if you put this on top of like a carpet or something at home, you want to, you know, cover the floors just to make sure that your whatever you got under you is safe, whether it's a carpet or rug or whatever. If you do your stuff at home. But I thought this was great. One reason I thought it was great is because obviously it's something portable, so you can take it around. Like if you want to work on your guitar somewhere else outside your home, you can just carry it with you. Like take it with you, put it in a car, and you're good. Guitar nomads are gonna love this. And the second reason I liked it a lot was that it gives you the room for you to maneuver around the guitar. So if you want to do something at a specific angle and doing it on one side is difficult, you're gonna have to move the guitar around in a tight space like mine. Whereas if you put that in an open space, I can just walk around it and maneuver around it however I like, more freely. And I thought that was great. I think that's one of the advantages. Now, I don't know how stable it is. Like, can you do fretworks on this guitar? Like on the stand? Can you hammer your frets in? Can you, you know, file your frets on it? Is it stable enough for that? I don't know. It doesn't look like it's something that is stable for that kind of work. It looks like it's just some sort of a stand, horizontal stand. Yeah, see that? Like, see where the neck sits? It's like an upwards thing that the neck sits on. It's not designed for stability. It's just designed to hold the guitar there. Yeah. But I don't know. Shaolin says, doesn't look very safe. A GSWB 5000 stream next week. This time you can try and desolder a pot. You just shed it on me for no reason today, huh? The thing is, like, how much is it? All right, if it's not expensive, which I think it is, I have a feeling that it is going to be very expensive just for the sake of novelty of it, right? Because it's just a bunch of stands. You probably can just like weld this stuff together yourself. Like someone who knows how to do it, you know, can just like put it together. How much is this? $100? Are there any in Australia? All right, hold on. Give me a second.
Every word you never say still finds me somehow. I don't need to hear your voice. I feel you.
So that's about 300 Australian dollars.
Stay a little closer.
And don't explain a thing. Let me see.
I don't need forever.
It's not in Australia yet.
Just this quiet feeling. Stay right where you are. In the glow.
Yeah, it's not in Australia yet. If it was, I could potentially buy one. But yeah, it's about like 300 Aussie dollars. And I could just like, yeah. They have the on-stage professional guitar workstation. Like, so this one. Essentially, it's a on-stage stand for your guitar amps and pedals and everything else. Right? Which is an interesting idea, actually. I like the idea. Right? But they don't have that thing yet. So, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, if it was there, I would have bought one and you know, did actual proper demo on it and all that. It would make for really good content. If I can find it on Amazon or somewhere, I could actually like do work on the guitar somewhere in some jungle or whatever. You know what I mean? Just like travel somewhere nice, bring the cameras with you, put them up, set them up, and start doing this work in like more remote areas. That would be a nice thing, no? Stand. Let's see. No. It's not even on Amazon, so it's not in Australia yet. If it comes down, that would be a good one to deal with it. Yeah. Let's see. Shaolin says, once your guitar slips off of it, it's going to be very expensive. Well, but yeah, no, I understand. I agree with you. It doesn't look like it's like something that can take a lot of hits and a lot of pressure. That's for sure. So I'm not dumb. Like I'll probably gonna start with the cheaper guitars, like $100 guitar that I bought just for the works. And then I'll, maybe we can do something else. It doesn't look that crazily stable. Like I would put the guitar here if I wanted to just say, change the strings. Right. But like for like hammer work on the frets, no. No, God, no. Ryu! Greetings, Sensei Sorenzo. Greetings, my friend. How are you? Happy Saturday. How's things? How's your weekend so far? Shaolin says, so not only you have to carry a 25 kilogram amp, you need to carry another 10 kilogram stand. Well, you cannot carry an amp. First of all, why 25? Why 25 kilo amp? You can get a really tiny amp and get a massive sound out of it, dude. Like massive loud sound out of smaller amps. So no, the amp doesn't need to be 25, and you don't even need to take an amp with you. It can just carry a multi-effects and a speaker. Yeah. So any multi-effect that has what do you call it? Like an amp and cap simulator. Any multi-effects you got that has an amp and a cap simulator does the job. Because then, because of the cap simulator, you don't need to connect it to anything else. Just put it through like a PA system, whatever that may be. Bluetooth speakers, like these tiny little things that sound like little monsters. Like, have you seen them? Like, what are they called? There's like a really famous brand, portable speakers. What is it called? It's a very famous brand. Ultimate Ears. Ultimate Ears. I have one at home. Tiny little thing. It's as big as like a big orange. My God, it sounds loud. Like, you know, it's crazy. You can get one of those. Yeah. Shaolin says loud and screamy. If you want a 12-inch, did you just remove the comment? I was reading it and then it disappeared. Is it OBS or is it, hold on, is it my actual no, I think you just removed the comment. Oh, you brought it back now. Okay. Loud and screamy if you want a 12-inch speaker, which is minimum for me to get a good sound. As for amp sim, if it dies, your whole setup dies. Isn't that the... Yeah, no, I hear your point. Like, I'm not trying to argue with you about it or one thing. I mean, like, if anything dies, if the amp dies, the whole thing dies. Like, you... Yeah. Well, what I'm saying was, what I was talking about was just to do something like, you know, when you go out on a road trip, you go out somewhere hiking, and you want to spend some extra time there doing little things here and there with your guitar. That can work. That can work. Think of yourself like a temporary music nomad that, you know, you take things out and want to have fun with it and then bring it back. That was my comment about it. But you're right. Obviously, a proper 12-inch cab is going to sound better than a simulator, one way or the other. All right. Can we talk about Chapman guitars for a second? Doroteo, you may want to pay some attention to this one, because I know you're a Chapman fan. Shaolin says hiking with an electric, that ganja lifestyle beyond me. Yeah, like people that are on that thing can't even walk. Have you seen people that have gotten high before? Like, they can't move, let alone hiking. Though, for fairness, Snoop Dogg is always on that stuff, and he moves around all right. So yeah, I stood corrected. The guy loves this stuff. He's always high. All right. Hey, let's talk about this. Chapman guitars made their way to NAMM, had a proper booth at NAMM. They announced new stuff at NAMM, but they just updated the website properly this week. Because what happened is that after they went to NAMM, they still had the old stuff showing up on their website with a blog at the top of the website, which was weird to me. It's just the website updated with your new stuff, right? Now, here's the difference. Here's the sort of the thing, the change, the shift in the philosophy of what Chapman Guitar wants to do this year comparing to last year. This year's product, according to Rob Chapman himself, is going to be focused a lot more on gigging musicians. That's how he phrased it. What are the things that have changed? Now, your Chapman guitars are gonna come with carbon rod reinforcements in the neck. Pickups are gonna be Chapman pickups. These are the two major changes, right? And you got, in all sincerity, far, far better coloring schemes than the old stuff. Because like the old stuff's and like last year's aesthetics were genuinely bad. Like the choice of these colors were honestly not good. I don't know what went on in selecting these colors for the guitars. I know Chapman produces his guitars in India now, or at least some of them. So it could be the case of availability, it could be a case of I don't know what. But the new guitars look a million times better. Just not even comparable to what they did last year. It's just so much better in terms of the looks on the guitar. Right? So that's the new stuff with Chapman. They moved the production basically to India. Yeah. Shaolin says he's just making them cheaper and cheaper. Something tells me they're not selling very well. I agree with you. I think they took a hit after they moved away from ML1 and ML3, what they traditionally did. The older stuff, even older than last year's, right? They had the ML1, ML3, ML1 traditionals, ML1 pros. Same with the ML3s, right? I think they took a hit after that. I don't know how much of it is, I can't tell you how much of it was attributed to, the guitars themselves, how much of it with the market being rough. I don't have any factual statement, objective statement to say about it. What I can tell for a fact is that I would never buy a guitar that has these kind of colors and looks. Just never. This is really bad. The older stuff I'm actually a fan of. Really good stuff like the old stuff they had back in ML1, ML3 days. Like, really, like, I just look at them on the website, and we talked about this before. Like, I appreciate the guy trying. I appreciate the guy bringing something to the table. But these are not really good. So I think this is a massive improvement. Like, I think this is a good thing. Like, if I look at the legacy, the Lawmaker legacy, Lawmaker is basically the telly, right? I think this is nice. Like, much better than what it was before. So, all rosewood neck, by the way. Right? The Lawmaker Legacy's rosewood neck and fingerboard create an exceptional playing feel, making each note resonate with warmth and clarity. 25.5-inch scale, 22 jumbo stainless steel frets. Now, you could put rosewood on the neck, because rosewood is a hardwood after all. That's one of the reasons why rosewood is so frequently used on fingerboards, because more often than not, your fingerboard wood on the guitar is in contact with outside elements, moisture, air, so on and so forth. Obviously, there are some guitars that they put some sort of a finish on the fretboard, more on maple than others, because maple, out of all the hardwoods, maple is probably a little softer, on fingerboard at least. So sometimes maple fingerboards get, some sort of a finish on them and all that. But overall, maple, rosewood, ebony, wangi, they're hardwoods. So the selection of rosewood on the neck, as the neck itself is a little bit, unconventional. However, it is still very doable because rosewood is a hardwood. And if a wood is designed, if a piece of wood can be on your fretboard in contact with the outside world, air, moisture, like I said, dirt, whatever, and survive and remain stable, if it can do that, then you can put it on the neck too, is the logic. Now, how well it's going to sound, how well it's going to feel, I think the feel of the neck is going to be more having to do with how it's shaped and how it's sanded and how it's finished, right? In terms of, as opposed to just like what the wood is. More on that, but I'm not against it. Chapman pickups, equipped with a ceramic Chapman Redline special bridge humbucker, delivering aggressive punchy tones paired with a Chapman GT neck humbucker. Alnico 5 for warm and expressive note. Why are they saying warm so much in this? Is that what they're actually going for? I wonder. Or is it just like accidentally using just like whatever catchword that they can find? Are we actually going for a warm tone in this? I wonder. Body. Shadow burst, tiger eye burst, azure burst, yada yada. So finish, okay, fine. All their body, flame maple top wood, rosewood, 25.5-inch scale, black tusk nut, 14-inch radius. Now neck width, 43 mils on the first, 52 mils on the 12th. Okay. And then thickness is 21 on the first 22. All right. So the thickness doesn't really change that much from the neck to from the top to the bottom. Usually you get 21 to 23. But this one doesn't change. It keeps it a bit more stable. Not stable, like the same, I guess. Headstock angle is 8 degrees. Okay. So they were probably trying to get away with not using string trees on the headstock, because this guitar looks very Fender to me. This is like a reverse Fender headstock in some ways. It's very inspired by that, but the headstock design is not following the Fender guitar paradigm. They made 8-degree angles on those. I guess it saves operating costs too. I'm not that crazy big on headstock trees either. So binding is reveal, dual action spoke wheel truss rod. That's good. That was one of the recent changes in their guitars too. So the spoke wheel being at the base of the neck for truss rod adjustment, so bringing it down there instead of up there. That was another change that they did. I think it makes your truss rod in some ways more accessible, but I know not everybody agrees with that. Infinity at 12 paraloid, and then 2mm glow in the dark side dots. Hardware is Chapman locking tuners, string true hardtail, so these are all Chapmans. Master volume, a 500K pot. It doesn't tell you what pot though. A .22 cap. Comes with treble bleed. 14.5 ceramic on the bridge. 975 Alnico 5. Okay. Fine. I think that's an improvement to what they had last year. I have a feeling that's an improvement. I don't know about going everything custom with the bridge, and that, again, that looks like a hip shot bridge inspired kind of a bridge to me. Yeah, it's simple. I like it. I don't mind it at all. What do you guys think? Doroteo says colorblind. Ah, the old colors, you mean? I think that's what you meant. Like, these are colorblind kind of people's colors. I think that's what you're saying. Yeah, right? I mean, compare this color on this lawmaker or ML3. Compare this with this. It's not even close. Not even close. So, I think they did a good job comparing to last year. I wish they went back to when things actually worked. But yeah, you know, this is the thing, right? When it comes to guitar buyers, right? No matter how the guitar market goes up or down, us guitar buyers still have that one favorite guitar that we think is good quality, right? So if you buy, if you keep the quality good, you will have your buyers one way or the other. The disappointment usually starts when you used to have something really good, and then to cut cost, you just brought it down to garbage, and it's not as good anymore. That's when people start to leave. You know? That's the thing. And again, it's easier said than done, right? So like, I can be sitting here and be like, all right, you know, all right, you guys make the guitars, whatever, fine. But I think like just looking at my own behavior and buying all these guitars I've bought and sold, like, if you produce something of quality, there will be always somebody wanting your guitars. Yeah. So. Shalin says, meh. Terrible burst. Doroteo says, look better now. Yeah, look. Isn't the most beautiful guitar out there? No. Could they fade the black to the blue and the purple a little bit more? Like a better fade? Probably. Is it better than last year? Oh, 100%. You know? So we applauded, man. We applauded. The guy brings something to the table. Might not be the best thing ever, but he's trying, and this is an improvement to last year. So we trashed them last year for making things worse. Let's applaud them this year for making things better. Yeah. That's good. You know, and he'll figure it out. Look, there's always going to be some ups and downs in that journey, right? And like 2 or 3 years is nothing in business. You got to give the guy some time to figure stuff out. One more thing I'll say, and I'm not a fan of, because these guitars are made in India, if I'm not mistaken. One thing I'll say is that I am no fan whatsoever of Indian-made guitars. And that's not for the reasons you guys think. I don't have anything against India or Indian people or anything of that nature. It's none of that. I'm talking strictly from a point of view of guitar, right? I used to have the same feeling about Indonesia, and I no longer have. Let me explain. There is a difference between some factory worker that just works and produces a guitar, like, or it's part of the assembly, or it's part of the, you know, the cog works, and doesn't play any guitar, is not familiar with guitar culture, is not familiar with rock and roll and all that. That person is going to be looking at the guitar like a pass and fail quality check on a piece of paper. If this is that, if within this range, you're good, send it to the next. You know what I mean? And then they do that over and over again, repetitive jobs, things of that nature in factories. And so there's a difference between that person as opposed to somebody like another factory, like Aristides, like Diesel, like PRS, like Mexico Fender, the Fender factory in Mexico, right? There are a lot of these actual guitar players, right, that work on these guitars, are part of the manufacturing of these guitars. And so that person is going to have a completely different point of view on the guitar, a completely different perspective on the guitar, right? So that's one thing to keep in mind. And then the second thing is just culture of guitar, right? Just the culture of guitar. And then obviously training and how long they've been doing it for, right? So in Indonesia, like Surabaya, Indonesia, Chord is like the biggest guitar manufacturer in the world by miles, right? I bet you guys that if, hypothetically, if you could just like have a magic wand and then 30% of their factory workers became guitar players, I bet you that the quality of their guitars would go even higher than what it is right now. And their master built stuff is awesome in quality, right? But going back to India now, I don't think that rock and roll Western culture is as crazy big there, just due to the fact that India has its own very strong culture. It's an old country with old ancient culture of their own. So it's going to be harder to, insert a new culture there as opposed to a country that doesn't have that strong of a culture. So that's one thing. And secondly, they haven't been producing electric guitars for long. It's relatively new comparing to China, comparing to Indonesia, obviously comparing to the United States and Japan, right? They're really new at this. So I've played with 2 Indian-made guitars, and both of them were not really, they were disappointing. It will take some time. So maybe in 15, 20 years, 10, 15 years, maybe this gets better. Then India can become what like Indonesia currently is, right? And then be like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. Like, we'll think about good built Indonesian guitars are really good guitars. PRS SEs are great guitars, made in Indonesia. And I think India will get there someday too, assuming that investments keep going there and guitar brands go there for manufacturing and all that. So India will catch up too, eventually. It's just not there yet. That's why I'm not a fan of electric guitars made in India right now. The culture isn't there. I don't think they're factory workers. I don't know it for a fact, but I don't think their factory workers are all guitar players or anything of that nature. And I don't think that they've been doing it for long enough to get the little things right. That's my opinion. Yeah. Shaolin says it's a lost fight. I don't think Rob recovered from the KDH video. Oh, did he make a video about Chapman? I haven't seen it. It was 6 years ago, Shaolin says, but it was so big back then that it made KDH channels known. The damage to Chapman Guitar's reputation as it pertains Rob was massive. What did KDH say? I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea. So what did KDH say in short about Chapman guitars in his old famous video that got viral? Let me ask the AI. I have no idea what he says. What he said, rather. Okay. In his viral 2019 audio audit video, so 7 years ago, KDH heavily criticized Chapman Guitars and its founder primarily for what he described as deceptive marketing and business practices. By the way, guys, I'm just reading this from AI, and the AI saying that KDH has said that about Chapman Guitars. This is not my opinion. This is not my point of view. I had no idea this is there, just if you guys are watching this. This is not my opinion or anything. I'm just reading what happened. The core claims were the QC issues. that they had issues there. Deceptive promotion. Presenting top holiday gifts video as unbiased advice while secretly promoting his own products like pedals without disclosing ownership or sponsorship. Misleading claims about charitable claims. Okay, that's not nice. If brands charitable claims such as scholarship and relationship with Rift City. Interesting. Okay, I'll have a listen. I'll have a look. I had no idea that video was there. I'll be sure to read it and listen to it. Yeah. All right. By the way, just moving to a sort of a bit of a better news. For those of you who are in America and who are willing to travel to Nevada. Metallica Sphere residency confirmed. It's insane. The Metal Legends will host 4 no-repeat weekends for their Life Burns Faster residency in October 2026. I bet you the tickets are already sold out. This is awesome. I'm so glad they got it. After considerable speculation, Metallica have confirmed their residency at Las Vegas Sphere, which will comprise 8 shows across October 2026. Continuing the band's no-repeat weekend tradition, which sees them perform 2 shows in each city with entirely unique set lists on each night. The residency will take place on October 1st, 3rd, 15th, 17th, 22nd, 24th, 29th, and 31st. Brought to the Sphere in partnership with Live Nation and In Kind, Metallica's Life Burns Faster, taken from the lyrics to Master of Puppets, of course. We'll see the Metal Titans harness the venue's high-resolution LED light display for the first time, which spans the entire spherical roof and has 1.2 million LED pucks. Holy sh! Yeah. Yeah, I know U2 was there. I know Backstreet Boys got there. Did Adele also have some sort of some bunch of shows in there, or no? I thought Adele had it too. So yeah, that's great news for metal. That's just great news for us, like for the metal community, that, you know, a great band that represents this genre is gonna be on Sphere. Like, this is great on the stage in Sphere. So I thought that was great news. That was really interesting. One other news that came out that I want to share with you guys was this one that has to do with the guitar. You guys know Dan Electro guitars? So Dan Electros are like really, really old school. It's a old school brand. They're still around. And they brought back their new Dano guitar line that kind of looks like, you know, what they had back in good old days. When I read this article and I went to check out the specs on their website, this is what you get, right, on the Dano model. And then there's no, the specs to this guitar is nowhere to be found. You just click on it, and then this is what you get. And then each of these are unclickable. There's nothing in there that you can click on to see some specs, to see what it's all about. So I thought that was funny. I thought that was interesting. And then when I went back to the article to have a look, that they basically, you know, briefed you about the models. You got the Golden 50s with what they call the kitchen tabletop. You had the Dano Cool series that they come with lipstick pickups, 1950 pair of higher output lipstick pickups. And you have the P90 style pickups in this one. So yeah, that's like what they did. And I was like, all right, well, can I get like something a bit more detailed in there, and, you know, something that we can actually talk about and analyze, and to see how these guitars are built and all that jazz? No, nada, absolutely nothing. So I was like, all right, well, screw it then. We'll come back and check this out a little later, in case some specs are released on the new Dano. But as of now, there doesn't seem to be much. Yeah. There we go. Those were the two little news that I thought I wanted to share with y'all before we go to the next. All right. Let's do my favorite part of the stream, shall we? Let's do it. I'm gonna put the right song for it, because you know, I love this song. Oh, this is the new song that is like my favorite. Anyways, guys, before we talk about anything else, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I say this on every stream. And there's nowhere else I'd rather be on my weekends. Like, I could be out there going to restaurants, going out and about, doing things. I love what I do on the weekends, and you guys are a part of it. And I just want to thank you. Won't take it for granted. So, yeah, let me open this and bring this to your health, guys. What can I say? What can I say? Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Cheers to your health, guys. Hope you're well. Hope things are well. Shaolin, you're in a part of the world that there are strange news coming out of it. I hope you're well, and I hope your loved ones are well. So for everybody else. That's right. Cheers to your health, guys. Thanks again for hanging out with me.
I never opened before. You don't touch me, but I'm already shaking. There's a fire in the quiet. You don't have to name it. Hold me tight before the emptiness takes over, like we're never getting older. Before everything is over.
Man,
come closer.
I gotta tell you guys, these seconds are not coming back, man. This is it. We're not getting any younger. Like, this is as good as it gets. If you're able enough to play your guitar, practice without any physical limitations, this is as good as it gets. Ask somebody who has arthritis in their hands and can't play anymore. Ask someone who are in pain even when they're sitting down. Ask someone that have unsolvable problems in life. This is as good as it gets, guys. Be thankful of it and take advantage of it. Do what you love. You love guitar, just do it. You know? Hey, you guys want to see something cool? Have you guys seen the new ESP custom shop stuff? I'm not going to go through the specs, but the guitars look awesome. Check this out.
I don't need forever. Just this quiet feeling.
How good is that? Let me move myself away.
Stay right where you are.
It's so good. ESP custom shop stuff are so good. I mean, they really kick it out of the park. Look at that. And again, talking about simple, you know, tops with Mother Nature kicking it. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that spalted maple. Okay. Oof, baby, look at that. That is kind of inspired by Ibanez's Trio of Life, no? Ibanez's Trio of Death, rather. That's what's on Tim Henson's. But it's rose. It's red roses, thorns, and blood. That's the theme. I love it. Look at that. Look at that. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-piece neck. Oof, this looks awesome. Look at that. Just art. Beautiful art. So that's a Horizon CTO. a set through construction at 25.5-inch scale, swamp ash and flame maple body, quilted maple, sorry, this is quilted, yeah, quilted maple top, thin U-shaped 7-piece rosewood flame maple purple heart neck. Oh, the neck is a winner. That neck is a winner. Zyracoat fingerboard with ebony and red binding and barbed wire inlay. I love this guitar. So that was like the first on the line. What do you guys think? Well, how do we feel about this guitar, folks? This looks awesome. Yeah, that's one. Moving to the next. Sold in China market, China. Why? Why? I mean, like rich Chinese money came in. Put $1 billion, not a billion, like $1 million bid on this, not a bet. $1 million bid on this, and then just got it, took it home. Next one is this. We're going for a little bit of a different vibe here, no? Look at that. Not as impressive as the other one, though. With that said, the neck is still a winner. Look at the neck. I think it's the same piece, same choice of wood for the neck. Might be stained a little differently. 7-piece Zyracoat flame maple purple heart. Yeah, almost the same. That's the next one. Next, look at that. All right, so that's an M2. Right. You're kicking it with these necks, dude. Holy moly. Nice and simple. I like it. 25.5-inch scale. Serpent blue. Honduran mahogany body. Oh, God. Okay. So this is a real mahogany, by the way. Honduran mahogany is like the second real mahogany wood that was selected as a tone wood. So Cuban mahogany is the main real mahogany, and then its sister Honduran mahogany. These are the two types of wood that belong to the same genetic family, right? And then every other piece of wood that we call mahogany, Filipino mahogany, African mahogany, you name it, right? All of those, they are called mahogany. They sound and look similar to mahogany, but they're actually not the real mahogany. Honduran mahogany is the real deal, folks. So Cuban and Honduran, they're the real deal, like the ones that were traditionally used as mahoganies. Oh, and by the way, the reason the wood, the guitar market has to shift away from Honduran and Cuban mahogany was that at some point they were endangered species. There are still export restrictions on Cuban mahogany, so because it's still endangered. So that's why. That's why in more like newer guitars, when you see a Cuban mahogany body, like an authentic Cuban mahogany, that's like a lot of those are just like reused wood, reclaimed wood. They just like, get that wood from somewhere that is already chopped off and whatever to turn it into a guitar. But Honduran mahogany is the real deal. Flame maple top and walnut top, rather. Stainless steel frets, auto tuners, and the bevels. Look at that. Seymour Duncan Pegasus. Hey, there we go. Pegasus and Sentient. We talked about the Sentient earlier on the stream, didn't we? Good pickup still. Look at that. 9-piece neck. Thin U-shaped flame maple Paduke walnut neck. Heck, look at that. Aha. Love it. Doroteo says, wow, looks like sorcery. Yeah, look awesome. Shaolin says, love the fret markers. On this one? It's kind of Washburn used on the W1568 Idol. The bolt-on kind of ruins it for me, though. Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't be a fan, like, why would you? Yeah, I wouldn't be a fan of bolt-on necks there either. Yeah, not a fan of bolt-on necks either. Like, if it's a custom shop, it's gonna go balls to the walls. Make it like this. I love this. So far, this has been my favorite. A little too much on the neck, but the back of the guitar looks awesome. Yeah. The blue one's fret markers. Yeah, that one. That's like very similar to Horizon's fret markers, no? Yeah. So that's the M2CTM Floyd Rose. This looks great too. Looks great too. Binding too, by the way. Look at the neck and the body binding. The binding sits really well with the blue. Yeah. Okay, moving to the next. Oh my lord, look at the back, by the way. Look at the backwood. I'll move myself. Look at here. And then there. Isn't this awesome? Damn, that one looks great. Yeah, right? Looks really good. Like this is awesome. That's just artistry, like at its max. And then look at the neck. Let's go from there. Get mesmerized here on those patterns in there, and then go to the neck and get even more mesmerized. Okay, best looking guitar so far. Let's be honest. Okay, enough with the back. Let's go to the front. Headstock. All right, Shalom, what do you think of these inlays? So they're kind of similar to the other one, a little different. What do you think of these? I wonder. Nice binding around the body and the neck too. Look. The body goes there, and then you got the... Is that body in 3 layers? The back, middle, and top? You got the back, and the middle is the blue one, and then you got the top, which is another brown stained wood. Is that what we're doing here? Oh, the bridge is awesome too. Look at the bridge. Simple. String through. We like it. Yeah. Between this and that Gibson that we just saw, this is the one that worth $10,000. Not this. This looks awesome, my lord. Okay. That is AM2CTM NT. It has a set through construction. Heck yes. 25.5-inch scale. Japanese horse chestnut body with burled claro walnut inlay. Hadouk and maple purfling. Burled claro walnut back. Exclusive on drop D guitars. All right, let's go drop D guitars, guys. We want to see this guitar. $32,800. Oh my. What a price tag. Okay. What a price tag. Where are these guys located, by the way? Where are you guys? About us. Like, Dougie's. Look at that. Public relations manager. Hats off to him. I like him. He likes his dogs. He's put him in there. I like it. I like this. Okay, where are you guys located, though? Ugh, located. Greensville. Ah, okay. I'm in South Carolina. All right. Well, there we go. Guys, anyone? If anyone got $33,000 and you want to travel to South Carolina, go for it. This looks awesome, dude. This looks great. And it has Japanese wood in it, which makes me want it even more. All right, moving on to the next. Ooh. 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 What do we think of this? Ah. Dorothy says, I can buy a car at that price. Yeah. Yeah, that's literally a price of a car. Or a house down payment. Assuming that your house is at, 300 grand with a 10% deposit. But that, oh good, look at that. Hell yeah, hell yeah. I don't know if the pickup covers fit the vibe of this guitar. But boy, this looks good. Yeah, they've nice, okay. All right. What do we have here? Oh, this looks beautiful. I don't know functionally how much you can actually play with this guitar seated. If you have a look at the bottom rib of the guitar, like how would that sit on your thigh? Like this is more of like a museum piece. This is more like something you put there for decoration. Or play standing only, maybe? But like this looks good, but I don't think it's like aesthetic, like ergonomically playable. Like you wouldn't want to put this on your thigh. That thing is gonna poke inside your leg. Yeah. And also this bit, this pointy bit there. So the neck again looks awesome. Let's be honest here. That neck is, yeah. The winner in this guitar is not the body; it's the neck. I know because of the weird look of it and the selection of what everyone's eye is gonna go here. But I think the real winner in this guitar, if you want to actually play this guitar, the real winner is the neck. What do we have? Set through neck at 25.5 inch. Purple burst, supernatural purple radiation finish. A black limba body, burled maple top. These like whoosh, see that? That's the burled maple. Yeah. 7-piece slim U-shaped Zeracote flame maple purple heart neck. Black and white ebony fingerboard with flame maple and purple heart binding. Lotus and tribal pattern inlay. There we go. Jescar FW57 Evo frets. Jescar doesn't do Evos anymore. So this is pretty unique. Jescar Evos got discontinued. So it could be that they're specifically built it for like the PRS guys. Like might be a special order. But I know Jescar doesn't do Evos anymore. They got discontinued a long time ago. And it's exclusively available at the ESP Craft House itself in Japan. How much is this? Okay. It didn't take us to the guitar, did it? No, it didn't. Okay, fine. All right, moving on to the next. This is the fish guitar. I think they should call it the fish guitar. Or the ocean guitar. You guys notice how the pickguard looks like water? Like transparent pickguard? Did you see this? Have a look. Haha. Okay, listen, I appreciate the artistry. I'm not a fan of the color of this guitar at all. Like the stain job. I know what they did there, but I don't think. Yeah, what do we have here? They call it the snapper. Told you it's the fish guitar. Bolt-on construction 25.5 inch. Swamp ash body quilted maple top. Quilted maple back. 9-piece slim U-shaped flame maple ebony Karen neck. Bird's eye maple fingerboard. Scallop brass nut. Again, comes with Jescar Evos. Weren't they discontinued? Again, maybe it's just me. Hold on. Where? Jescar Evo frets discontinued. Have been permanently discontinued due to the raw alloy supplier ceasing production. Yeah, I was right. It was discontinued, yeah, 3 years ago. Okay, so they either produced it specially for the ESP guys, or it could be the case that they had it in stock and they used it on these ones. But the Evos are no longer there, and that's a shame. That's why, when I told you guys, I bought the, so I bought about 48 feet worth of Stumax gold fret wire. And the only reason I bought the Stumac one is because Jescar Evos are no longer in production. I went for the Jescar Evo. That's why I know they're no longer there. That's why I bought the Stumac one. And they're on the way. We will be using them on one of the guitars live on one of the streams. So, yeah. So here we go. And you got this one, this little devil. Maverick. Yeah, that was called the Maverick. Talked about this one, I think, already. It's the Maverick version of the one that we saw at the top. The arrow, look at that. The Explorer. What do you call the ESP Explorer? The EX. And the Les Paul. The Eclipse. Ah, this looks awesome. I love this one. Spalted maple. How much is this? So this one is School Music in South Korea, and this one is at Guitars to be Played. Now I can't read South Korean. Okay, I'm not gonna look at that. Worry about the website. This one's $27,000. Yeah, in Nashville, Tennessee. Ha! This looks awesome too. What a concept. Are these little blue lines glow in dark? Is that lumen light? I wonder. Honduran mahogany flame body, Clara walnut top with stone profiling, 5-piece Clara walnut flame maple back, 7-piece neck, scallop brass knot. Interesting. And they've set up the pickups in a way that they also produce the out of phase thing. So this whole like greeny virus has got to the ESPs as well, because they have now the same config there for throwing the pickups out of phase. So there we go. That's the last of them. They went a little long, but I thought I saw this on the website and I'm like, I gotta show you guys, because these guitars look really good. Yeah, I don't know whether I'll buy a guitar for 30. Like, man, 33K is a lot of dough. Imagine having so much that you're just like, you know what? Let's just buy a guitar for 33K. It's just like, but you gotta appreciate the artistry, irrespective of like how annoyed one can get of how expensive these guitars are. You gotta appreciate the artistry. Alrighto, guys, that's all I had for today's stream. I think we did really good. We went and talked about, we talked about the new XJ LTD guitar. We talked about the new Gibson, Ronson signature, a bunch of articles. We had a nice chat about Chapman's, Metallica's news, and all the good stuff. So I think we were successful. I think, unlike the first stream yesterday, today was a successful stream. Similar to the second stream yesterday, today was successful, but my lord, didn't we hit the cliff yesterday on the first stream? I will, like, this is like, man, lesson learned. Like, this is the thing. You do things live, there's nowhere to hide. You mess things up, things go wrong, they go wrong. There's ain't nothing you can do about it. And yesterday, soldering iron was my moment of joy. With that said, y'all, I think we're gonna leave it here. My friends, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Doroteo says, looks like more of a piece of art than a guitar. Yeah, it's just for hanging it somewhere, dude. I don't think you're gonna take a $33,000 guitar on the road, unless you're Kirk Hammett. Then you take a $2 million guitar on the road. But what can I say? Guys, once again, thank you so much for hanging out. Have a great rest of the weekend. And again, I say it at the end of every stream. If you love your guitar, if you love playing guitar, do what you love. Hug a loved one. Tell them you love them. Have fun. Be with them. But do the responsibilities, and then 2 hours a day, selfishly, just for you. It's yours. Play the guitar and all that. All the good stuff. That's all I gotta say. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I'll see you in the next video and the next live stream. Take a good care of yourself. Have a great rest of the weekend. Buenas noches, everybody. Buenas noches. Woo! Baby, baby, baby. Baby, 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 baby.
The world is made of
Silver strings and unresolved desires.
I chase the
Thrill of us something through broken amplifiers. You fade into the river, but I still hear her sing.
I hear you in the distance.
Pulling me again.
I feel the air.
Ryu says, peace, peace, brother. Have a good night. Take a good care of yourself.
Spark inside the silence, calling me back home.
Woo!
I'm falling through the echoes, where the shadows start to glow. And every sound you leave behind is the one I can't outgrow. Oh, Mr. Sorenzo, your voice is in the undertow. I'm rising, but I'm sinking in the echoes. Echoes of Sorenzo. Hold me in the static, guide me through the dark. Every fading memory still reaches for my heart. I'm falling through the echoes, still searching for your glow. And every wave that crashes in reminds me where to go. Oh, Mr. Sorenzo, I'm lost inside your overflow. I'm standing, but I'm drifting in the echoes. Echoes of Sorenzo.